Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As ladies and gentlemen, the title of this video is Blackrock buying XRP? And I'm gonna make myself clear right now, there is absolutely zero evidence pointing towards Blackrock actually buying XRP. However, it is a rumor circulating the XRP community recently. Trust me when I say no one wants this rumor to be more true than I do. But it's not. Ladies and gentlemen, the rumor is that Blackrock is considered to be making a shift from Bitcoin to XRP. But as you can see by this thread, there is no specific evidence that this is in fact the case. There are just people that posted this on Twitter, and now people are catching wind of it. Like I've said before, I'll say again, no one wishes this rumor were more true than I do, because that would mean trillions would be on standby right now for XRP. However, it's not. Facts are important. However, what I think is going on right now is a bit of engagement farming. And it's important to know the difference between truth and something that we just hope is happening. For example, something people hoped would happen is that Congress would be banned from trading stocks, banned from owning stocks, based on making moves, based on information, based on committees they've been on. But the truth is, this will mark a market top in the stock market. And now, this new bill is getting closer and closer to actually being passed. And this, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, is one of the biggest macro indicators we, as retail investors, all need to pay attention to. Congress is firing warning shots. We are closer than we've ever been before to this bill getting passed. And I guarantee you, the moment this bill passes, exit liquidity, we will be made exit liquidity for our politicians. Watch it happen in real time. And I guarantee you, people's eyes will begin opening wide.
The American people are frustrated and exhausted with the corruption and role of big money in the halls of Congress. That is why I'm introducing a 5-point plan. First, ban all PAC and lobbyist money to congressional campaigns. I don't take a dime of it. Second, ban completely stock trading and members of Congress from ever becoming lobbyists. Activists like Unusual Whales, Quiver Quantitative, and the leaders at Crew have been mobilizing for this. Third, term limits for members of Congress. Fourth, term limits for Supreme Court justices. And fifth, an ethics code for Supreme Court justices. This is common sense. The people demand it. It's time we give them back their government and we reform in Washington. We should have bipartisan support for this 5-point plan. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield back.
Now here, guys, the big point I want to hammer home is the fact that the more we continue to see this push for Congress to be banned from owning stocks, the more likely we're reaching this market top for the stock market. And then that will directly affect the crypto market. Stocks going down will have a negative effect price-wise as far as crypto is concerned. But it would be a great buying opportunity. And remember, we are in the time frame I've been calling for months now, where I suspect a black swan style pullback to occur. Keep your eyes glued to the screen. And I actually want all of you to be excited about it, because in reality, it will be a catalyst for the events I think will be taking place this November, as we have confirmation from SWIFT that it's a misconception that ISO 20022 is just messaging, because it's much more than that. And we also have that the cryptocurrency and digital asset impact on enhanced data and financial systems in SWIFT will go live with enhanced ISO 20022 data, November 2023. These are all extremely important that you understand. There are no coincidences in regard to the financial system and when things get adopted. There are no coincidences in regards to when bills get passed. And there are no coincidences in regards to when specific styles of news drop. Keep that in mind, but pay extremely close attention to what these two ladies have to say.
ISO 20022 is called and recognized as the standard of the future. And I remember I briefly touched this topic at Hong Kong Blockchain Week. Can you please tell us more about how this standard is applied?
Sure. So ISO 20022 is a standard that's been in development for more than 10 years. And it's not just a messaging standard. That's kind of a misinterpretation of what it is. At its very base, it's actually business flows. So for example, when you're doing a payment, what does that look like? Who are the parties involved? What information do they send to each other, et cetera, et cetera. When you break that down to its components, you end up actually with a very rich kind of data dictionary, which allows you to reuse these components in different ways, like a recipe book. So ISO 20022 absolutely is pervasive in our industry. It's used across payments, securities, transactions. And the reason that it's done so well as a standard is really because of its flexibility and also the fact that it's an open source standard. So anybody can go to ISO20022.org and get the information on the standard out of that. But why it's important maybe I'll talk first from a payments perspective and then from a securities perspective, but why it's important from a payments perspective is it allows innovation to grow. So it provides a base about how people interact, so a language, and then on top of it, it allows innovation to grow from there. So I'll give you an example of that. For example, in Australia, there's a real-time payment platform called NPP. That Australian platform actually does person-to-person payment transactions within, let's say, less than 10 seconds. It does this transaction. And that's all based on ISO 20022. The idea is to then, on top of that, build a layer that allows fintech companies to plug into that fast payment utility. And that will allow those fintech companies to be able to offer services to the market. For example, let's say you want to get a mortgage and you have to do all the document checks, you have to do et cetera, and then that results at the end of the day into a payment of your deposit. That could be a fintech company sitting on top of that does document checking and eventually helps to initiate the payment. And what that allows you to do is, because we've agreed on the business standards and how you, for example, initiate payment, it's then more interesting and easy for fintech companies to be able to grow on top of that, because they no longer need to worry about how do they communicate with that real-time payments platform, how do they communicate with the banks. That basis is set and it allows innovation to grow. Another example of that is we do a lot of work with the World Wide Web Consortium around payments and how payments go from a web browser. So we worked very closely with this group over the years, which includes the like of Google, Apple, et cetera, who are all looking at a common standard on how to do payments.
We're all part of an industry that, for better or worse, has got used to managing the coexistence of different standards and indeed versions of these standards across the front as well as the back office. Now, things like the use of cryptocurrencies, digital assets and APIs all threaten to increase that fragmentation even further. And this is happening just at a point where data is becoming extremely valuable, not only just in terms of cost savings, but also in terms of new services and new revenue opportunities. So it seems to me that the value of data depends on our ability to share it and exchange it efficiently. Different standards or data models will obviously make that interoperability much more difficult.
Now, isn't that powerful? Guys, I started off this video for today with a little bit of a downer, letting you guys know that there's no specific evidence that Blackrock is buying XRP right now. Not because I don't think they will some point down the road, not because maybe they aren't, because they could be, but because we don't know that to be a fact. But what I do know to be a fact are the videos that I consistently show you providing evidence, more evidence that XRP is likely to be a big player and exactly what we've always suspected it to be. I continue to show you evidence that some of the narratives and some of the big macro geopolitical events we've been suspecting to happen could occur. We have to be able, with 2020 foresight, to anticipate numerous different events. And despite the fact that there is no evidence that Blackrock is buying XRP right now, it's on my radar. And I'll be looking to see if some real evidence does pop up to let all of you know. But one thing's certain, it's been difficult to be an XRP investor throughout the years. So much hype, so much FUD, and everything in between. But here we are, still grinding and powering through. And I believe Alex Cobb shared one of the best videos to best describe what it's like to be an XRP holder. And I cap off this video for today. I'm gonna leave you with a little comedic relief. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
Bonjour, boys Milen.
Bogdanov. This ends now. So what's the next step of your master plan?
Crashing this market. With no survivors.
Not this time, Bog.
Dumpy. Eat my shots. Dumpy Taga. Drop the symbol.